Without you, Bamenda, I know for the exist. Thank you, Bamenda. Thank you, my homeland. God bless you, my mama. Straight to strength for your children. I am proud of you, you are richer. I am proud of you, you are stronger. You defeat them all, like Africa in the world.
Bamenda, capital of the northwest region of Cameroon. The metropolis of over 700,000 inhabitants is one of the few cities in the Central African country that means so much to so many people. Indigents, as they used to be called, on the one hand, and settlers on the other. Founded by the Germans more than 100 years ago as a township for native workers, Bamenda quickly became a safe haven for Cameroonian patriots oppressed by colonialists before becoming a battleground for political and civil rights in Cameroon. Bamenda is also known as Bande, Ntambaga, Tisong, Ausa or Mankon Town to some, but the metropolis founded in 1890 during German colonial rule is best known also under the name of Abakwa, meaning the land of strangers.
The commercial area of the town was founded by the Hausas. History says that when the Hausas first came, they settled near the station, around the location of the Adeso clinic. The custom of Hausa Fulani people, when there is meat on the slab, drums are played to signal to would-be buyers that there is meat available for sale. The noise from these drums disturbed the German administrators, and they asked the Fon of Bamenda to relocate the houses. And that was the beginning of the creation of the commercial area of the town, called Abakwa. Abakwa is a Hausa name for town, but that's how we know it. It is known as Abakwa.
What interested them with us was that the Germans came and saw iron, holes made of iron, cutlasses made of iron, and then guns. So they could not believe that they would meet an iron in Africa. Our fathers were great smithers. We had iron ore up here on this mountain, so they could melt the iron ore to form those things, farm equipment. So when the Germans came, they saw the iron, they were so interested with our parents. And they requested for land to make up their own home. Then our father located the land, the fort, which is now the Crown land.
This is the fort, the imposing edifice where the German colonial army set up its Highlands Regiment. Completed in 1912, the base became not just a symbol of German occupation of the region, but also a subject of pride for the hundreds of natives enlisted sometimes at gunpoint to build it. At the defeat of the Germans in the 1914-1918 First World War and the subsequent handover of southern Cameroon to Great Britain as a protectorate of the League of Nations, the fort was transformed into the headquarters of British colonial services.
This place used to be the administrative area after the Second World War. I started knowing this place in 1951. In 1951, when we used to come for what we're calling that feast, Empire Day. Empire Day, just around behind there where the military camp is now. That was the Empire Day, and we were children when we come here. This was a restricted area because, you know, administrative area for colonial masters. You don't have to just come there anyhow. So the resident was, the house was somewhere down there. The resident, I'm saying, one who died, he was buried here, just behind here.
We had accepted the houses. By the time the British came, the houses were where we call Guava Station. They brought guava. We went to school, we went over and having guava. The Europeans came, they were up, so we were getting mixed up like that. And early in the morning, the drummers would start. The Europeans saw it a nuisance, and they felt that they shouldn't stay there. father accepted them.
We have some people in Bamenda they used to call Tongtu. Who are these people, Your Majesty?
Tongtu people, there was at that early moment of European coming here, the difference in the administration between the French, how they administered the East Cameroon, and how the British ministered what is the West Cameroon was quite different. The French used force to beat up people. The two do projects were not discussed, were just commanded. And there was a lot of road construction and so on. And they handled people very high-handedly. And most of them, right by 1922, many of them had escaped to Mancon. By 1922, the French administrators came to Bamenda, came here, and wanted the people to be returned, to return to their homes. And the British administrator said, this is a local matter, it doesn't concern them. They're not. They should check up if they want to go. They said they wouldn't go. Then they consulted my father that they want to arrest and take them away. My father said he has no support for that type of thing because when they go to Konsamba to trade, they're very friendly with them. And they're black people like themselves. If the problem is between the French and the English, it doesn't concern him. They should be allowed to stay.
And they stayed. For more than 100 years, Bamenda has become their hometown, their ancestral land, to use a much cherished local expression.
Njwela.
Njilana. Njilana. Nelo. Njwela. Njilana le. Matongto ungo njilana le. Manda njela.
Ethnic affiliations, however, remain very strong in this part of the country. But interestingly, they have not given rise to tribal preferences and discrimination in the regional capital.
When a Mancon person speaks, it is not, there's no difference whatsoever with what someone from Songwa, someone from Batu, someone from Chomba speaks. Bamenankwe, which is not very, very different from Kwen, because I earlier told you, they are people virtually of the same family, Nja, which is a settlement of people from around Baba and Bafochu. They are essentially people who speak the kind of the Bafochu language.
Is there any language here which is more spoken than others?
The language here is Pidgin. The lingua franca of English-speaking Cameroon is Pidgin. It is actually our duty to make everything possible for the unity and togetherness of a city like this one, its people, whether they are the natives of the area or the settlers, all of them should be united.
They call me Chief Awa David. I am of Nigerian nationality. I was born and bred in Bamenda. My father, late father, was Pa Awa Jidiofo, who was well known by the community leaders here. He was a blacksmith. My father came to Bamenda in the early years of around the 1920s, because he told us he saw when they were digging the station road by the Germans. I knew Bamenda 50 years back.
The Bamenda man is very frank. He calls a spade a spade. He calls a chair a chair. He's very frank, sometimes to her detriment. But that frankness, that openness has brought the Bamenda man to be involved in the historic events in this country, such as the creation of the KNC and the KNDP, which were the forefront organizations for the unification movement. And recently, the CPDM was created in Bamenda, another landmark that made the Bamenda people proud in Cameroon.
People did not know what Bamenda is, where Bamenda is located in Cameroon, until the day the SDF made the courageous move against all military presence and intimidation. They decided and said enough was enough, and that it was time to give the Bamenda man, and Cameroonians at large, a freedom of expression politically. And they launched the SDF at a cost to themselves and, many lives that were lost, but they did it.
Such is the historical background of Bamenda, a hotbed of pre- and post-independence politics, and a passionate experience in the making of the Cameroonian nation.
The day that the Lord shall come, so many people shall be saying what I know. The day that the Lord shall come, so many people shall be saying what I know. What I know, what I know, what I know. What I know, what I know, what I know. What I know, what I know, what I know. What I know, what I know, what I know.
The population of Bamenda, even though the last census gave it at about 300,000, it is rightly estimated to be about 700,000 people. All these buildings you see all over the place, particularly the new ones, have cropped up within the last 6 years. This sector of the city, from Victoria Junction through Commercial Avenue, right up to Hospital and about, a square meter of land is not less than 200,000 francs. The volume of business, we generate something like 250 million francs for building permits every year. And that represents construction activity of at least 25 billion francs.
The Commercial Avenue, the pride of the city's inhabitants. It is a place where you can find everything from banks to supermarkets, bookshops to building material stores, tailoring workshops, restaurants and pubs, or taverns, locally called here off licenses. Then a vuvuzela problem cropped up early in the 2000s. It followed the legalization of motorbike taxis, locally known as Okada. The motorbike riders are notoriously called Mungwin because of the sizzling noise of insects they make, and they've become a major source of nuisance as they've turned traffic in the city into a real nightmare for drivers and pedestrians alike. They are places of worship based in residential areas where recorded spiritual messages boom out from loudspeakers, sometimes 24 hours a day.
We have so many persons who claim to create a church, and behind it is not a church. It's either a business venture or an occultic group that misleads the young people. The advent of what you call now Pentecostalism coming into Cameroon is not strange. We had noticed this activity since the 80s because of certain activities in the country. Poverty, maybe the pressure of a lot of need, and these churches coming in with promises of God's blessings?
In fact, I really justify this. There is a lot of financial incapability. There's misery, and people want to have a means of living. Consequently, some of them form these churches as a means to make up wealth. You see, sir, that some of these people, they form a church. Just within 5 years, is already running in a Pajero. And they, you know that the population is still illiterate. So when you are talking them about God, they quote a few sections in the Bible, you confuse them, they believe on that, contribute a lot of money. Some give $1 million and so on. That's why you see some of these churches progressing.
It was in Bamenda that the struggle for multi-party democracy began. The launch on April 26, 1990 of the Social Democratic Front, Cameroon's main opposition movement. The civil disobedience campaign and popular uprising that led to the holding of Cameroon's first democratic elections is brandished here as the prize of the Bamenda man's courage and patriotism.
The Bamenda man is the most open, outspoken person because he tells you what he has in his mind. There are people you talk to them now, they say, oh, yeah, Willie, you're right. You see, but they go behind and say, don't mind that man. But the Bamenda man talks to you straight. You can be grumbling, getting angry and going, but he's made his conscience clear before you. And that is what makes the Bamenda man unique.
The Bamenda people are dynamic. They are also very welcoming. That's why you find a lot of strangers here.
Bamenda man likes the truth. He doesn't like lies. He likes whatever thing he's doing, he should do it in order. He doesn't like encourage bribery and corruption. He does not.
The Bamenda man is somebody who wants that his rights should not be tampered with. A Bamenda man is somebody who is straightforward. A Bamenda man wants the truth. And if you think that you can fool a Bamenda man, then you are looking for trouble with him.
The problem with the Bamenda man, he has a custom. He has a way of life. He has a culture. And when you start with him and you touch those pricky points, he will be stubborn.
Bamenda has undergone a huge transformation in terms of the mentality and in terms of approach to situations. And again, I must say that even some of the stigma that was meted was very wrong. One thing you must understand is that the Bamenda person is someone who tells you white is white, black is black. But when you try to make black called white, that is where there's a problem.
When you touch Bamenda, you touch the whole Northwest region. The Bamenda people are hardworking population, God-fearing, law-abiding.
The spirit of development and the spirit of looking forward for a better future is the spirit of the Bamenda man. They want to succeed, and they succeed by working hard.
The Bamenda man likes to speak his mind, and at times that can be rude. See, you always have to understand the context in which you are. You can express an opinion firmly but politely. I think it is fair to say that many Bamenda people would express an opinion clearly. I don't necessarily believe that it is always expressed in a polite manner. And that rubs off many politicians, many administrators who come to Bamenda who feel like they do not get respect.
And what can life be in the Bamenda City Council, where Cameroon's two leading political parties sit side by side?
In Bamenda, we have this political hot climate where we have especially the SDF and the CPDM really calling the shots. At the level of the city council, we have 3 subdivisional councils that make up our city board. And we have 2 of these councils run by the SDF and 1 by the CPDM. So most often you see a political clash where everybody's like pulling a blanket to cover them. We also see a situation where even our grand councillors really understand our challenges. They understand our difficulties. They really share with our difficulties. But for some political reasons, because of course they have to ask for votes, you find a subtle manipulation of public opinion. It's unfortunate, but most often that's what happens. And so even when people really fully understand our challenges, they know what we are supposed to do, they know what we are not supposed to do, they know what is our preserve. But then they still ask for more. Not because they do not really understand. Most often it is a political game.
We have a lot we have to do, but unfortunately, our means and finances are often limited because we don't have access to all the areas of revenue collection in as far as a city council is concerned. So we are limited to certain areas and the city council is limited to certain areas. But we all work in synergy to improve the situation of the city as a whole.
As a CPDM mayor, well, I would say just the fact that it's a CPDM mayor, the demands are more, and the people, the expectations are really, they're extremely high. The expectations are high. The demands are really more. And we're trying, I would say, we're trying to do nothing but our best to meet up with their needs. But the demands are more, and the people really look a lot onto us to do more.
Our population, they are development oriented. You see, every little son and daughter of this city is struggling to put up a house, a befitting house for himself. They are struggling to make up a family, a responsible family, and they are doing their best to send their children to responsible schools and also ensuring that their children should have a very sound and befitting education. We are bound to work together because all the councils created in Bamenda here are for one goal. Our major goal is ameliorating the living condition of the people of this city.
It's an expression of democracy in this country. But what I simply want to say is that before being a member of the opposition or a member of the regime, we are first of all brothers and sisters. Majority of my councillors are from the Social Democratic Front, headed by me, John Fundi, who is a typical Bamenda person without, you cannot talk about Bamenda without mentioning me, John Fundi. So our main focus when we come to deliberate on issues of Bamenda is Bamenda. You forget about CPDM, you forget about SDF, and things move because the streets of Bamenda do not recognize whether somebody is SDF or CPDM.
Fats and oil, water, and what? Minerals. All clap for yourselves.
The economy of Bamenda is growing. It's growing in the sense that the population have grown. We have educated young men and women. But Bamenda needs industries which can absorb these people who are leaving schools. Because everybody cannot be absorbed by government. We need to encourage private people to open private businesses, industries where to employ. If it is done, I think it's going to help to move Bamenda forward.
We have succeeded in making young people see that education is a key to success in life.
So everybody in Bamenda struggles to make sure that the child goes to school, even if he has to eat only bitter leaf, and let that child go forward. That is done in happiness.
there was a great king who was about to leave, and one day he's not able to summarize his legacy. They brought volumes of books, he refused. And until they summarize it to a sentence, that what? That there is no free meal as long as you live. And this is, first of all, to tell the young people that if you cannot work hard, you will not put food on the table. You will not educate your own child. You will not make a better generation for yourself. And how do we work hard? First of all, by acquiring training, going to school. Going to school, be it formal or informal education. I encourage my youth that it is what you can produce by yourself. The skill you obtain will help you to be what you want to be.
And what do the authorities think about the contribution of the diaspora in the development of the city?
As a matter of fact, the latest statistics indicate that Bamenda alone receives more than 50% of all remittances that come from foreign countries into this country.
When I travel around Cameroon, I look at people in Bamenda. The irony is that despite the city being bereft of any infrastructure, any factories, the irony is that the people in Bamenda are the most satisfied with themselves.
Moi, je suis originaire du centre. Je suis installée dans le nord-ouest où se trouve Bamenda et sa communauté urbaine. Je suis très à l'aise, vraiment très à l'aise, ce qui fait que nous avons décidé, mon mari et moi, de nous installer ici. Bon climat, accueil chaleureux, hospitalité et tout le reste. Je vous invite, vous également, à faire de même. Vous ne serez pas déçus.